All right. Sorry. Here we go. Welcome to the Black Band Broadcast. I'm your host, Rap Raven. Let me actually open this PDF, which I should have done 10 minutes ago, but I didn't. Give me 17 seconds to find that. Shortcuts. Yeah, and the logo is a bit different today. For those who sneezing, that's me. So for those who tuned in yesterday at Tines TV, we wasn't there. Tines, sorry, did miss me saying that he's having timing issues with his channel, and he won't be able to broadcast until the 2nd of next month. So and that's kind of knocked onto our channel because I've had to use a different account to log in here now, and he's got a different logo. So I don't know what's happening there. Should really try to collate all my accounts, and we'll do that sometime. But anyway, to the show, let us go. If you know, where are we? The shows. We are the 163rd show. Here we go. And there we go. Yes, found it. So let's now open this doc. We have a fantastic show. Tell your friends. What's this? Share. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Tell your friends we're live. Yeah. Share screen, please. Don't show me that message again. All right. You're gonna say yes. There it is. Ta-da! Live. All right. Yeah. I should really check out my. Now how do I read mode? There we go. View, show. Hold on. Read mode. There you go. Fantastic. All right. So we're in the 63rd show. This is Black Band Broadcast. Please don't forget to follow the Instagram page, which is there. Tell your friends we're live. You are part of this process. So we're going to start the show like we start every single show. And that is with the 3 starting statements, very important statements to keep you on point when you're trying to be constructive and help Black people. And that is, when it comes to working as a collective with only Black people on matters that benefit Black issues, Black progression, and Black ownership, Black people are collectively inadequate. And individually, you might find a non-Black person who shows some kind of camaraderie, hard to pronounce word, towards Black people. However, collectively, Black people have no friends. We're going to show that today as well. Very it correlates with some of our topics. And constructive Black man with constructive Black woman makes a constructive Black family. If you didn't know, now you know. Now you know. We make more space here as well, man. That space. Cool. Also, we're going to send a link out as we do every week because this is not a single show; it's a team show. And the constructive community is welcome to jump in. And that's what you do. Please don't forget about the 4D values, which are discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. Let's not forget about those. Very important, very important. Let us not forget about those. Save that, please. There you go. All right. Where are we? Also, can using the scripture. Okay, so we don't try to use any kind of harsh derogatory language, please. We want to be more descriptive and constructive with our language whenever it's constructively possible. For those who are new and don't know what Black Betterment is, it is Black people helping Black people on issues for betterment. On Black issues, sorry, for betterment. I'll say it again. Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. So it's a lifestyle. That's right. We practice the lifestyle of Black betterment on this show. So what is today's show about? Every week we have 2 or 3 topics. And the topics today are too many Black men emotionally aggressive when courting? And how do we protect Black women from aggressive harassment? That's one complete statement there, a chapter. Next chapter is, do racists marry Black people? We discuss why constructive Black man with constructive Black woman is important. So, do racists marry Black people? Will they? Who knows? Well, let's find out. So we've got 2 very short, so basically we've got 2 short clips, very short. We'll have to show them a few times so when people come in, they're going to check it. Welcome in, Brother Kel, to the show who help us do the analyzing. Welcome to the Brother Kel.
Black Betterment, brother. Wonderful show starting. You go.
Thanks for joining.
Can you can you hear me, bro? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. You're loud and
Right,
fine.
right, right.
Excellent. So, anyone wants to join in as well? It's that kind of show. Any brother and sister out there wants to jump in and give their analytical data or opinion on something, by all means, jump in. We're going to start on the topic of let's start on do races. Oh no, let's start on do races marry black people. So there's a
Ooh.
very good. There's a video circulating, and this is over to the brothers and sisters in the states of a. It looks like some kind of police, some kind of enforcement of some kind guy, and there's a video circulating of him mistreating a black woman. I think maybe they drove past in a car, or a bike, or something like this. But obviously, his language towards her was very disruptive and rude and racist. But what was more interesting, I'm assuming it's the same guy because people have tried to research, and they say they found his wife. But we're gonna. I'm just discovered this literally a few hours ago, so I haven't done my proper research. But I threw it into the topic because it is an important topic and it ties into Black love. Well, it does definitely. So we're going to review that. So let's see if I can find that video. Here it is. Look at that. I've muted all the swear words as well this week, which is very handy. That's the one. Let's go back.
But you are nigger trash.
Okay.
Now I've left in the derogatory, anti-black, racist words for purpose, for case study purposes. Let's go.
But you are nigger trash.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Keep talking.
I will.
Okay.
With me, you class.
What you gonna do?
I tell you what.
I'm a stupid nigga, everybody. I'm a
she
stupid
is a
nigga.
stupid nigger.
He hit.
Let's stop it there. So as you see there, they're disagreeing about something. He's obviously an enforcement, so he should have the high authority and should be able to try to, calm the people down. But instead, he's actually driving to it, causing it. It seems, and it's causing much grief, and also using derogatory language towards a black lady. The picture, if you can see the screen, some people are telling me this is his wife. So apparently he's married to if this is him, married to a black woman, they are still married. And this is the thing, you would think that if this is how he's behaving to a stranger in the streets, then whenever he's arguing with his wife of how many years, this might be common language. It rolls off his tongue. When she confronts him, he looks towards the crowd and says, yes, I said it. He wants the world to know. He doesn't care about the camera. He understands that the system protect him. He's not too bothered. Let's carry on listening.
My plate. I'm a stupid
Go
nigger.
fix your car. And stop honking at people when you don't need
Shut
to.
your
So I think he might be in a way, and she blew the horn and maybe attacked the car or something. Then she followed him into the station. I think maybe just to see why the police officer being aggressive, and then he starts using racist language towards the sister. And then the researchers have done that this individual might actually have a black wife. So obviously there's many stories out there. If you have any stories yourself, feel free to tell us about non-black people marrying black people and them being victims of abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse as well. But in the household, and obviously the first thing they reach for is those terms, those ancient terms of insults, that many anti-black racists love to reach for. Oh yes.
I would say as well, Brother Raven, it's obviously the N-word is problematic. It's also other things where it comes to when you want to sort out solutions for black people, if there's any form of injustice, or if you want to help with your people, they practice the unethics with that as well.
Yes.
You understand? In a form of the N-word. You know what I mean? Like there was a case with, I used to listen to her back in the days, Eve, from Rough Riders, sorry. Right. You know what I mean? And she also went through some problems. She's married to a European man. And when the George Floyd thing happened, there was loads of backlash with her saying that, a European husband has a problem with the fact of how the European police done the injustice to George Floyd, and how everyone's talking about it made him feel very uncomfortable, and that she should stop campaigning with this movement. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's not always in the case of the N-word. There's more to it than that, man. Which all couples who are in the interracial, they all go through that. You know, all of them do.
This is very true. This concept we're talking about, that while you're married to a non-black person, and that people from that community are practicing unethical anti-black racism, you find that there is pressure on the black person to minimize their involvement or their affiliation with any kind of black empowerment concept or black understanding of liberation. And this we see across the board. Matter of fact, I would even say that most of the, I mean, I might have to do a tally and just really tally up, but I would say most of the most aggressive brothers who have tried to shut down Black Betterment, any kind of pro-black or Pan-Africanism, it seems that when I do my thorough research behind it, is actually having a non-black partner.
Right.
And this is something that we need to really unpack, because it is quite interesting. And of course, we get it, right? As in, there's also the stories of well, I guess Eve is a good case study in that. And you're with a person, you think you're happy, you've got what you think you want, but then certain things haven't happened in life, and one of those certain things might be, obviously, you know, murder of innocent black people and this kind of stuff, and your opinions about it. And then you realize you're in a household where they have completely different views from you, and your children are now divided, as in, you know, the views of you guys versus the views of the cultural group you've married into that might or most definitely do practice anti-black racism. So this is very problematic. It's almost like the thing sometimes I would say when you and this is going to be found very strong to many black people, but I always say, because we're so used to facing hardship and expecting hardship and accepting hardship, sometimes you shouldn't really even give examples of blacks and whites or blacks and others, because you just won't, the black person just won't be able to understand it. What you have to do is then use another example. So I say, well, in this recent event, unfortunately, you have what's going on in the Middle East with the Israelis and the Palestinians. And can you imagine if a Palestinian and Israeli were married to each other, and then obviously this bombing happens and this kind of other stuff going on, this back and forth, and then obviously, you know, you're dividing that, and then the husband, you shouldn't be supporting any kind of Palestinian kind of plight or anything, because, you know, it's not what we do here as a household. So already you're divided, and you're like, oh my days, my own partner doesn't have my back. So this is the examples you give of why groups who are at the stark opposite historically and have gone through tremendous turmoil against each other, even if it's one way, and one of those groups have yet to rebuild from that challenge. It's probably best to marry within your group until that's kind of sorted out, if ever, right? And unfortunately, when we see black people, we see a heightened marrying into groups that have historically mistreated black people and not really doing the whole to see. Go ahead, brother.
I would say, brother, also that it's also the ones who are in the intimate relationship and the ones who have a personal relationship with them. For example, friends as well. I've noticed if they have friends with them, right, it's very problematic. And if they're in a relationship with them, and I've you know, like growing up, you know, in movements, etc., seeing it, you know, I mean, I've noticed that is always the case. You know, my friends are from that group, not all of them are that, etc. Or I'm with a wife or a husband from that background, they can't be, and then they become very unsynchronized, very aggressive as well. In fact, I would say 99% of the time, if you are faced with that, it's because of those two issues there. You know, it's not about mistreating non-African people, of course, but there has to be a level of controlling your dopamines, of understanding that it's political and personal, and we should not mix them together at all. You know, learning is very important as a people. don't mix personal with politics. So
It's very interesting. I mean, I'm gonna big up our brother Stanley. He helps us a lot of case studies, and he's big
yeah.
up him live here. But it would be interesting at some point to review someone who's very closely connected. Speaking of the angel, it'd be interesting to talk to someone who can actually like confirm or deny whether marrying or dating a non-black person, more particularly a white person, does that contribute to you feeling like you cannot get involved in black stuff, or do you get slightly angry and edgy around black people talking about black things? I don't know if there's anyone out there in the interweb who would like to jump in and say that, but feel free. But as we do that, welcome Brother Stanley to the show. Welcome, Brother Stanley. How's it going? Back Betterment. We'll let him find his laptop microphone. And while he's doing that, we'll carry on. So, for those who are joining
Ready?
Now, we can hear you now. Welcome. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Excellent, Brother Stanley.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I have a few questions, but none particularly explosive.
Okay. Well, you go ahead. Is it connected to the screen, the concept, or just random?
No, I kind of hopped in afterwards, but something you said about it's probably better for, black people to marry each other. So develop your point. I just have some questions about after black people marry each other.
Okay, well, what we're saying is, unfortunately, what you might have missed is we say sometimes it's best to give examples of non-black people because a lot of the world, as well as black people, we're used to going through turmoil and pain, and to the point where many black people deserve it, and some might not even notice the concepts of happened to us. So what we tend to do is we use examples of other people groups that's gone through a back and forth with other people groups, and we say, what if a Palestinian was to marry a Israeli? And then the Palestinian felt a way not to talk about Palestinian plight because, they're married to an Israeli. We would say this is unfortunate. And then the question would be, why have you married an Israeli when, Palestinians haven't achieved what they're trying to achieve in the land they're in? Surely you should have married a Palestinian. But you'll find that many Palestinians will not be marrying Israelis because they have a better code of conduct in their community, unfortunately. And hopefully we can adapt a similar thing. As it pertains to marrying within your own group. But that's what we're saying. We're saying that it is better for black people, a constructive black man to marry a constructive black woman, rather than marrying a non-black person and then finding out that they practice anti-black racism. But also it's good for self-esteem, economic purposes, and to reverse the strategy of racial whitening that is very prevalent in Portuguese and Spanish-speaking black areas.
And the thing is as well, brother, is that yes, there's value. I definitely agree with that. And at the same time, we're not disciplined enough to be marrying non-African people. You know what I mean? We don't seem to know how to stay on code, man. Many of friends I've been in friends' houses, and you know what I mean, and I've seen it, man. They don't know how to stay on code, man. You know what I mean? It's almost as if like it's what's the word? I can't even think of the word right now, but it's like a defect that causes a malfunction in their mind. You're talking about. Yeah, it's like they become very subservient straight away, man. You know what I mean? And it always goes their way as well. Yes. Always goes their way, their standards, you know what I mean, and towards like cultural, etc. And I find that very amazing. And then they start bringing them into the movement. Like there was an incident one time, I'll be honest with you, some years back. There's a place, the Legacy. It's well known in Birmingham and it's linked to London, etc. and that, right? Yeah. And there was a talk in there. I attended, many of us, and there was a there was a brother, man, and he brought his European partner in there into the what's name, and straight away, obviously she had to leave. Do you understand? But it's the way how he was behaving towards it. Like, it's not fair. And he became very aggressive as well, man. You know what I mean? And he was told that this is first of all, it's a black-owned building. You know, black people contribute. But it's the way how he didn't understand that, you know, if you want to have a personal relationship with her, do that at home. But in here, it's not your home. It's our home for safety. And he couldn't understand it, man. He became very angry, man. You know what I mean? So,
I've seen it before. Yeah, it's very. The thing is, that's why I'm trying to write a certain way of delivering the best way to keep things with that practice black betterment. Because sometimes what is you've got to be very strategic of how you word it, and that's why I do think acknowledging that we are collectively inadequate, and because of a history of anti-black racism, treatment, and us not being able to rise from in many areas of where we are, it only adds to the confusion. So it's there is value in self-determination. You see, there is value, and there is no justification of why a non-black person is in a black Betterment meeting. There's no justification at all, unless they've been invited for case study, like they have information on racism or on something going down that only they know and they're giving us the inside scoop. But I can't really see, and even that's invite, and you know, they're not part of the thing, whatever. So I don't. Once again, we have to write ways just to make, because the people we have to be most concerned with is obviously the brothers and sisters who are in non-black relationships, because as you know, the self-sabotage will be struck, and they'll breathe hard, anxiety will go up, the blood pressure will go up, they'll start screaming, they'll care, their heart for the non-black person who really wants to come into the event. One thing what strategy I give, especially with non-black women or white women, I should say, so is because usually when I go on some of these all-black panels and they have their European wives or girlfriends, potential secret mistresses and stuff like that in the background, what times is that you tend to find that the secret European lovers, they'll shout at you and they'll say, you know, this, that, and the third, and they should be allowed to help black people, and they usually references, well, I've got a biracial kid or a black kid, this is what you say. And I said, well, here's what you can do. You can go and form an institution where you're dismantling racism, and you can also set up a think tank where your job is to dismantle racism and just feed us information on every single racist action you see, and whether it's in your family or not. And then this will be very helpful. And the funny thing is, they always refuse it. They don't want to actually do something and dismantle racism. They want racism to happen and to come into meetings with black people to wallow about it. It makes absolutely no sense. But then again, it's a strategy. That's what I'm saying. What you want to see as strategy, you realize. Now, Brother Stanley, after hearing what we're saying, is there any kind of thing you like to add to that, Brother Stanley?
Yeah, I have two questions.
Go ahead.
Number one, are there ever exceptions to, you said black people should probably, or it's best to marry each other. Are there ever exceptions? And the reason I ask the question is there are different ways to be compatible besides race.
You're going to have to unpack that, but I can give you examples. So apparently...
Well, I mean...
Shall I give you an example?
Go ahead and finish.
So the example you might be able to get past is, apparently there was a brother, a very, very intelligent brother. He was kidnapped from Congo many years ago, and then apparently landed on the doorstep of in Russia. I think, was it Russia or was it France? Because I think there's two now. I'm going to say, let me say Russia. I'm talking about the Russian one, right? I hope I'm getting this right. But either way, you'll get the idea. So anyway, he was in a place where there was actually no black people, according to the records. There might be, so I read. And he was kidnapped as a young kid, and he doesn't know anything, and he's never really been across anyone. He hasn't heard the word. There is no one to marry. You know things are going to happen. We can ignore that. But in scenarios where you live in black environments, we definitely want to heighten the chance of constructive black man marrying constructive black woman, because it's part of the building process, isn't it? Let me give you a perfect example of when we say black people collectively inadequate. For example, when you look at Tarzan, came out in 1919, I think, around that time. Tarzan is obviously some kind of fantasy or something like this. where a European man is swinging through African jungles. He crash landers in there, and he learns how to speak to monkeys. He learns how to speak. I don't think he learned how to speak to black people. I think it's just the monkeys he learned to speak to. So he rather learn how to speak to monkeys. But anyway, he's swinging around, being raised by animals and cubs and all that. And the only people there is animals, chimpanzees, whatever it is, and then tigers or lions or whatever. Not tigers. And obviously African indigenous people living around. Now this guy, he lived there all his life, and by the time he hit 21, he managed to actually get married to a white woman, even though there was no other white people in the entire land or the jungle where he was. But yet Tarzan ended up marrying a white woman, Jane, I believe her name was, right? And the writer wrote it that way because he's very important. He understood that, you know, normally you would think, well, there's no one around here, you just marry who's there, right? But not the writer. And I found that actually Tarzan means white skin, which is very interesting. And then I also found out that Tarzan was banned in Germany because they thought that it was improper to have a Nordic man in a rough environment. You see? So this is why people understanding certain literature and language and how they understand how certain visuals influence certain people. And that's why they have this very sensitive way of writing things and making sure that no matter what happens, no matter where you go, you marry your own. You see? Very important.
Okay,
In that context, they know better than us. Does that make sense? So they are, I would say, collectively more intelligent if their attitude is we have to always marry within our group. So for economic purposes, betterment purposes, they will be smart. If there's very few debates in their circles about this. Black circles, tremendously. If you type in pro-black, you ask you want to be pro-black. So already we know that we're culturally compromised. But go ahead with your opinion, bro.
Well, you're saying that the Tarzan movie that you saw in 2019 influenced your thinking?
No, I'm saying that Tarzan is one of the most. It is the pre.
Okay, well, no. You're saying you saw it and you're using it as an example.
No, you're confused. I'm saying that when the gentleman wrote it, this is what was going through his mind, and despite his fantastic
the dude was born in like Edgar Rice Burroughs was born like in the 1800s. Are you really going to let someone who obviously it's totally racist? It's about the most racist thing you can possibly write. But I'm a little bit. Hold on, let me finish, please.
Go on.
I'm a little worried if someone who was born in 1870 something is influencing your thinking and a justification for your philosophy in 2023. That there's something wrong there.
But Stanley, that thinking what Brother Raven mentioned about the author of the Tarzan thing is how the non-Africans think. They want to survive, Brother Stanley, and that's something brother, I'll let you finish. My bad. Okay, right. It's something that we haven't understood yet. Is that they will do anything, whether it's extreme lengths to survive. You understand? And they will bring their survival on ethics with them in whatever place they're in. So if they're writing a book, they want to survive in the book. You see, if they're at the workplace, they want to survive at the workplace by keeping their race in charge. Well, we're talking about the Tarzan concept, right?
We were talking movies, not books.
Okay, movies then, even though it was written, right? You know,
it was all based.
What I find very strange is that Tarzan
from the early 20th century, from an obviously racist person.
Yeah, but this happens even now, though. There's always seems to be a collective on ethics by non-African people that we're going to make sure we are the survivors in all the fields that we're in. So if we're in an interracial relationship, right, we know that we can't stop the African gene, but we're going to control the descendants so it has the best interest for us. And that's something that as Black people, we haven't understood that yet. They want to survive, you know, and whether you're going back into the 20s, it's the same mindset now, or there wouldn't be an unethical code of conduct system which keeps marginalizing and putting us back in all things, you see?
How did I miss this?
Well, you missed a lot because I suspect that you told us you.
Well, no, I mean literally in my 58 years.
Yes.
I have now I know there's racism. You know, I can like, you know, give you stories. However, I have never thought that I never thought, you know, life in America in 2023 was like a Tarzan movie. I literally have, and
Well, the
you
thing
know,
is, brother, the thing is,
I've
brother
met
Stan,
some racists.
well, that's the thing. Hold on, and this is what it is. Sometimes metaphors and case studies might confuse people. And what we're trying to do isn't go back to 1990 about Tarzan. We're saying I'm giving you an example of how.
I don't think it's a good example, frankly.
Well, the thing is, brother, the question is we're using you as a case study in the sense of you have a point you're trying to make, right? So
Yeah, and I'm using you as a case study, by the way.
Let me finish. That's good, and you should, because at the end of it, hopefully you'll practice Black women. So what I'm thinking is, here's like this, right? We're saying that it is better for constructive Black man to marry a constructive Black woman, and we gave a modern time reference that happened a few days ago in the country of America, where a police officer started swearing and abusing a Black woman because she rode in front of her car, and she came to confront him and say, "Why are you driving dangerous?" And then he started calling the N-word. I want to find out that this individual allegedly is married or has been married to a Black woman. So we're saying, isn't that a terrible thing to find out that a police officer who's
But are
married to a
you using this as a rule versus an exception?
Well, it's like this. What do you think is collectively better for Black people? To marry Black people, to marry non-Black people?
Well, you know what I think is better for Black people.
Okay, let us know.
You know, I've said it countless times to you on your show.
Could you say it in one statement, maybe, so it's easy?
It's better for Black people to do whatever they want to do.
This makes no sense, brother Stanley.
What? Oh, come on now.
This makes no sense.
Why can't Black people do what they want to do?
Do what you want to do, brother Stanley.
You can make mistakes if you want to.
Yeah, but doing what we want to do compared to doing what we need to do is two different states. We've been doing what we hold on, brother Stanley, or
I get your point.
Brother, we've been doing what we want to do, brother. And guess what happens when we do what we want to? It costs the next generation. You see,
and I
doing what we want to do, brother. But how are you going to disagree, brother? When it comes to our spending habits,
when you say collectively... please finish, and then I'll come back because I'm interrupting.
When it comes to us using our economics, right, understanding the concept of economics, right, to circulate the Black pound, the Black dollars, etc., and that for the next generation, we do what we want, brother, and that's not happening for the next generation. When it comes to securing the Black woman, right, and understanding her needs, etc., and that, right, we've been doing what we want, and then she relies on the system. You see, brother, when it comes to our children and teaching them about unethical code of conduct and teaching them to be loyal to the race by whatever field of education they go into, that they help out their family and help out the extended family, whether it be from your tribe or not from your tribe within the African. We've been doing what we want and it hasn't been successful. So now we need to do what we need.
I disagree that it's not been successful.
Go on, brother.
Now I have to use the American, the American descendant of slave example. You could never tell me that ADOS in America have not been successful. I mean, we have literally gone from a triangle slave trade to Ben Carson, who's a neurosurgeon. So there has been success.
Brother,
It's a matter of it's a matter of duplicating the success. I could give you that part.
Hold on.
Well, why am I being interrupted now?
Well, no, because we're going to back and forth, aren't we? And it's the nature of the show. Because you said some good points. The thing is, there's
okay,
no
it's your show.
It is the Black Betterment show, so we're trying to reach Betterment. So it's like this, brother, right? We've never questioned the fact that Black people individually have moved exceptionally far. But the problem we're talking about is moving as a collective. So you need to mention more institutions that are consistently producing Black Betterment work or Black
HBCUs in America.
Yeah, okay, brother. Here's what it is, right? These
have been producing excellence for almost 150 years.
So can you name me a collection of Black industries in America?
Yes. Most of the Black Greek associations, Alpha Phi Alpha, all of the sororities, deltas, AKA. So that's a collection. Morehouse men. Hold on, let me finish. I'm naming the institutions. You asked a question.
You haven't started.
Dude, you asked a question. I'm naming you Black excellence in America. Why can't I finish?
I said industries because you blaming the industries just
who do you, education isn't an industry?
Like I said, here's what we're trying to say.
Let's go with Jet Magazine. Let's go with Ebony Magazine. Okay, there are plenty of industries.
Hold on. These are wonderful things you're mentioning, right? And what we do is anytime we see Black people working constructively and successful, we highlight and we use it as a template of well done this.
And I'm trying to name you some.
Hold on. But it is way too small to then say that these things you've mentioned.
But you got to start somewhere.
Hold on. Across the board, meaning that Black people are working collectively at the rate that is producing high level results. Now, the reason I say this is being complacent. Hold on, brother. Let me say.
Beyonce.
I ain't finished. Being complacent.
These are people that are producing.
I'm gonna have to mute you, brother, just because I've got a good point, and you might be listening. Yeah. Being complacent is one of the challenges that we face as a collective. It's well, remember, let's go back to where we were. Originally, we were talking about the necessity of constructive Black man marrying constructive Black woman. But by our case studies, we understand this concept really rattles up so many Black people, more so Black men.
Black people what?
Excuse me?
See, this is always my
Did you hear what I said? Could you want to disprove me?
I heard you said Black people.
I'm just going to speak and you can jump in. And for me, it is a massive primary. Let me finish. Whenever I mention, regardless of where I'm in the world, constructive Black men marrying constructive Black women, just this concept, it triggers so many self-destructive and self-sabotage switches in brothers and sisters' minds, right? And I'm saying, like, I would like those brothers who show those symptoms, to explain what's going through their mind. So through your mind, when you hear,
but see, I think that's good.
Yeah, when you hear me say that we're moving together to heighten the chance that constructive man marries constructive Black woman and has a constructive Black family, what do you feel like inside when I say that, brother? Let us know so we can learn.
I think you have a great message. But let me kind of qualify my opinion of your message. If Black people are not being constructive, then they need to listen to you. Because you will set non-constructive Black people, and I have a problem with your term Black people because Black people in England aren't like Black people in America, etc. But let's just go with your Black people comment or your description. People who are Black people who are aimless and need a focus or a direction, they should be listening to you rap, and you too, Kale. I don't have a problem with that. but not all black people are aimless or need your help.
So
That's
Now,
my
brother,
point. No, hold
brother.
on. Let me finish. Let me finish. Not
Mhm.
all black people are aimless or need your help. That's been my point all along.
Brother, I am sensing the cognitive dissonance with your dopamines towards the needs for black people instead of the wants, brother. And this is what Brother Braven's saying is that, you are from the black race, brother. So, you know exactly what happens globally when it comes to black people. And there should be a race first necessity of, whoa, this is happening to black people. It doesn't matter if I like non-African women or have friends with them and that. We need the help. You understand? And that's not seen to be coming your way, brother. And this is why
I
we're able
thoroughly
to,
agree with that.
brother, this is why we're
I
able to
agree.
analyze with political science, or due respect here, how we can detect when the African descendant is being unsynchronized when he's using certain rhetoric to get away from the responsibility, and it returns back to, and I spoke to Brother Raven about this, to do with an individualist mindset. You see, what about what I want? And unfortunately, brother,
No,
what I
that's not
want,
my point.
brother, all due respect to, what I want, brother, is costing the race. You see, because of unsynchronization, brother, of what about we want, when we go around the planet, etc., we're mistreated. You see, when we're in relationships, brother, you see, we have to build up the black family, because whatever black woman you're with, unfortunately, because she's been mistreated by the black man, you see what I'm saying? We have to pick up the pieces, though we are synchronized. And vice versa with the black woman, that she has to pick up the pieces of the unsynchronized black woman that her partners with. Do you understand what I'm saying, brother? But I'm not seeing that with you. And it's not just you, brother. There's many others. It's like you just can't grasp the fact that we need more help, regardless.
Well, you
You know
asked
what I
me a
mean?
question. Can I answer or should I let you
Okay,
finish?
brother. Go on, brother. Go on.
Not all black people are helpless, like you describe us to be.
Mm,
Yeah, so what you're doing, you're controlling the narrative in a sense where what we're saying there's an agenda and a purpose, right? Now, what's very important, and this is, and some people might get frustrated when they listen to brothers, this kind of dialogue. We're well aware that this is circular reasoning we're dealing with, but and this is why we give you the examples of the innovators and I've been doing much work, and I'll present my findings in a couple of weeks, maybe next week, I don't know, about why you have and I think I've got some images about it. I've got some images. Some very good stuff there. But that's why you have to have what we have. You see here, when we talk about the innovators, right? And the work I'm dealing with now is I'm trying to go into every black
Can you
population.
give specific examples of black innovators?
Hold on, give me 4 seconds. Give me 4 seconds. So you have to understand the context of what we're saying. So because this show is about the promotion of a lifestyle that has black people helping black people on black issues. So the idea is to make sure Brother Stanley's ideologies doesn't ever come to fruition. And so what we're doing is we're thinking, okay, how can hold on, bro? How can we promote this lifestyle? And we're saying that there needs to be rules and regulations, templates, more particularly, right, on guides and templates of how black people can achieve collectively and progress. So we're saying that there needs to be a certain mindset, a certain people to do that. But we recognize that that's a very challenging task. So within every single population, it's going to be a small number. So we've got down to 2.5%. So what I'm doing is I'm taking 5% of that 2.5%, and I'm saying that 5% of a 2.5% is going to be coming up with the templates and the research and the analytics to help guide black people into actually succeed. And the challenge is people like Brother Stanley, they don't see this, like they see the challenges. Now, I have my theories about why brothers would always try to go against the clear evidence that black people are collectively inadequate and we're not actually collectively moving forward. But obviously, that's for him in his own time to come out with, right? But this is what we're saying. So in order to for those who might be frustrated when they hear that certain brothers go in circles, we're saying this. We recognize that there's a small number, and this show is to find that small number of very intelligent, loyal, constructive, consistent black guys and girls who are going to come up with lifestyles and ideas and work together with other brothers and sisters to come together to work on the solution, right? Solutions. Now, in that concept, it's just going to be black people. No one's going to turn up with a non-black person because that's off code. That's got nothing to do with what we're dealing with. But you tend to find that any person who's poo-pooing or undermining anything we're saying now, it is, and this is a very good social science, it is through close contact with a non-black person, more so romantically or in like a best friend or maybe economic hiring kind of scenario where they want everything they do a part of their existence to include people who have already succeeded collectively. They want to include them. They want to give the 5p we have, they want to split that in two and give 2.5 pennies to other groups, you see, not knowing they have £50 already. They probably got £5 billion, whatever. And this is the problem. This is inadequacy, right? But this is why we have to kind of brush past those brothers and go, when you're ready, you can make an attempt to be an innovator. But until then, you can't. Here's your question, brother, because I know you're patient.
Not all black people.
It doesn't matter. That's not how power works, brother. So what's like this, right? There's going to be a person who's constructive, and everything they say is consistently for the forwardment and the forwardom of black people, right? And there's going to be some person who's always talking slow and throwing in but if, what if,
or successful.
Right? That person,
wait, I'm interrupted again.
That person cannot actually be any form of innovator or any form of director.
And I think you're wrong.
Well, demonstrate. Tell us a constructive collective idea that just for black people that we can practice. Go ahead.
Well,
Simon.
constructive and collective. I don't know. ADOS.
Of course, that's my
we
point.
We are a collective, and we have been successful. Dude, you asked me to. Oh no,
you misunderstood the question. What we're not going to do is.
No, I understood the question. I think you're not hearing my answer.
The answer is inadequate. I'll tell you again.
Well, you're inadequate.
It is. I'll demonstrate again, brother. Give us.
I gave you a group of people who have been phenomenally successful.
Give us a concept of working, right? A concept of working, an idea, something that can be
American black people have been successful. Would you disagree?
So I've given you an example by saying become a.
I have brought up a group who have been totally successful.
I'll be offended by this.
ADOS.
Here it comes. Okay, so sorry about family. So what I'm saying is, you see, this is the thing with many.
You have a group of people who are successful.
I'm going to put you down if you do it again. So I know you might enjoy that, but just hold on for a second because we're trying to learn, aren't we? Now, what I'm asking you, brother, is give us, and this is what many brothers can't do. They don't understand what tangibility means, right? So when I say become a constructive man and marry a constructive woman and have a constructive family, and this benefits black people collectively as a concept or a template, can you give us something else like that black people can practice that we can move forward? Now, I understand some people might be upset by it, but we're using them as a case study. Go ahead, brother. You can't.
Yes.
That's my point. So that's my point, brother.
I can do that.
Can you demonstrate for us at the moment so we can learn from you, brother? Can you do that?
American descendants of slaves have been phenomenally successful. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Say American descendants of slaves are not successful in America. Please tell.
Because you don't understand the question, which
is
fine. Because
say I'm wrong.
One more time, and then we're going to put you that just so you can rest, because I know you want some of the rest. So here's what it is, brother. The question is very specific. Rather than saying groups, say a particular action that we can repeat, right? We can repeat as a collective group that will forward black people no matter where they are. A concept, a template. Now, if this is challenging, not to worry, because we understand.
No, it's not challenging.
Because a very good point I want to drop that everyone's going to enjoy. We understand that there are many brothers who are the 2.5% ancestors, and they are the innovators, and they're going to come up with those templates, those ideas that you just don't understand. You might, unfortunately, be a lagger. I hope that you're more of a late majority, but you might be a lagger. Right? Meaning that no matter what we do, you will always drag your feet, and only if we force you, you'll want to do something constructive with black people. So I'm asking you, can you tell us an innovative concept or idea that we can do as a collective that will push us forward? Go ahead, brother.
I would say everything from music to James Baldwin, black writers, culturally, American descendants of slaves have been phenomenally successful
I'm just going to
worldwide.
mute you just
Tell me,
for purposes. So I see you do not understand.
tell
the
me
concept.
I'm wrong.
Hold on, brother. And I don't want anyone I want everyone to be merciful to Brother Stanley, because not everyone can be innovators. Not everyone can come up with ideas. Now, what we would ask is, if you're not an innovator, do not undermine the innovators. Yeah, and do not be a lagger and just undermine that process. Do not be within that 16% of people who just sabotage every single thing we try to do. You see? Right? And I'm saying, Brother
Can
Stanley.
you parse your
Oh,
bit?
sorry. Say again, brother. We didn't hear you because it kept muting. The thing is, if I unmute and you unmute at the same time, you're going to be muted. So when I unmute you, now speak. Go ahead.
I think your numbers are just looking at UK.
No, it's not. It's not at all. But this is any
Black
population.
people in UK are reflective of your numbers. Black
sir.
Americans are way more successful
No.
than you will admit.
No. So first of all, any success that any Black American, Canadian, UK, Australian, whoever, we wish them well, and we will follow them and use what they do as a case study, and we try to emulate it. We love the contributions that Black Americans have done to the world. It's quite outstanding. However, that doesn't hide the fact that they are part of the same collective we are part of, and they go through the same. You go through the same challenges. So a similar rule set will have to be pushed forward. And one of those rule sets that seems to trigger many Black men, including yourself, is a constructive Black man.
I'm not triggered.
Oh, you're very triggered. You're very. You have all the characteristics of a triggered Black.
Not even hardly. I'm a little disappointed.
Well, you should be yourself.
In your realization that your problems are your problems.
I know. So you've yet to give us a tangible mechanism that we can practice. You've just thrown out past successes, which we love, but we're saying so. Something you could say is like,
well, I can give you the mechanism.
Please do. I'm just trying to make sense for the people listening, please.
It is called Black people being themselves individually or collectively according to their choice. The example of a large group of successful Black people would be American descendants of slaves.
Yeah. So just give me 4 seconds. On the 4 seconds. This is important. So Brother Dominic has highlighted something, obviously, that he's not listening. He understands. He just needs to talk back and disagree. This is a strategy that many unseen corner, brother. You can jump in a second because we're looking for you. This is what many
reality, sir.
Hold on, brother. That's why you have to talk on your own, because it's part of the process. And this is the self-sabotage chip that Brother Kel was talking about. Once again, I could be wrong, and I try not to really point fingers too much, but I always find the heart of this behavior pattern comes from interaction in some kind of romance, or maybe a high friendship, or in a working environment, whatever it might be, with a non-Black person. Whenever this happens, the mindset of the Black, and we're going to focus on Black men today, because today it really is the Black man we want to focus on. Whenever this happens, you see this self-sabotaging just unkept. It just goes unchained, completely unchained, right? And that's why Brother Stanley has not answered one question. So anyway, we're going to go back on the course, because obviously people are here, and we want to definitely finish off the we'll get on to the next part of the show.
I've answered your question.
Okay. Well, it didn't correlate.
Would you like me to answer it again?
Well, not really, because at this point it's almost like
I'll bet you don't.
It's like automatic trolling, and it's like I get it, and I get that there's some kind of comedy value in trolls and this kind of stuff. However, because
not comedy.
Well, I don't know.
For the Black people in England who need your help, I encourage them to look you up and adopt your.
What you're doing is
yours.
Hold on, I'm just going to put. Shall I put you down? Let me know if you want to put you down, so I can put you back. What you do is you keep on trying to take ideas and make it like regional based, and people in your land.
Regional.
Hold on. So if we're saying that what we're doing is globally Black people, we have a concept where in your land, find other constructive Black people and find solutions for the very things that is in your land that you deal with, and we can share data back and forth. You haven't co-signed any of this concept. So right now, This ain't someone from Japan or Spain saying do this, do that. We're saying very basic concept of look out for yourself, which we understand we are inferior at such concept. So we are collectively inferior at looking out for
Black
ourselves.
people are inferior?
I'm glad you see, and this is why I use those words, because it tricks brothers like Stanley to then have to refute what he's saying. I'm saying, and you have to disprove me, disprove with your actions, that when it comes to working amongst ourselves, yeah, for ourselves, yeah, collectively, we are in an inferior position. So it's okay to say that at that concept, we practice it at inferior rate. This is very true. And I would say that what you are doing is a supreme example of that, a supreme example. There's nothing, you're trying to motivate a concept of do what you want, when you're at the bottom. It's almost like you're watching a football team and they're about to be
Football.
once again, I know you're trolling, but we're learning from your behavior because it's part of not being with a black woman. But
Honestly, I'm not.
Gonna meet you 5 seconds, and then you can jump in for your defense. We're just going 5 seconds. Yeah. So if you're at the bottom of the league, telling that team to do nothing, do what you want, is inappropriate behavior. And once again, I'm saying that you came in on the concept of marrying black people. And this is a very consistent thing I see. So if I'm wrong, 1,000 forgivenesses. But that seems to be at the heart of the issue. And that's why I'm saying, do you support the concept of constructive black man marrying a constructive black woman? Is that a template that works?
Yes, I support that wholeheartedly.
Then we're on the same page. There needs to be no other feet dragging when it comes to these basic tendencies that black people should value as a primary. Yeah, you value this concept that you become constructive and you marry Asian. But let's go some requests. Robert, please ask Stanley.
So you're saying that?
Raven, hold on.
Well,
Raven,
can I finish my point, sir?
Before you start, we've got because we have
my
brother, you must be respectful to the guests. Hold on, brother. Listen to my voice and jump.
Have a question.
Tolerate trolling and your uncivilized behavior week to week. So the least you can do.
Not trolling.
Hold on. Well, okay, you can use a new term, but it correlates with trolling. Raven, please ask Stanley, why does he come here every Friday but doesn't agree with anything this show promotes? Good question. Do you have answer that, brother?
Oh, I enjoy listening to you.
Okay. We have another question from
and I think for the black people who need your help, you are an important source of wisdom. For those who don't, they can listen.
Two questions. Well, so peace, sister. This might not be to me, but I think Melanated Goddess, you said something about, I want to know what have I done. Ask your son, sister, to get blocked. Is that part of this or something else? No one's blocked on it. If you're talking about this show, we haven't blocked any sister from here, so you're welcome to jump on the live panel. I don't know if that's to this show or another show, but just so you know. So anyway, brother, we're going to conclude. Go ahead, brother.
I just want to say, Brother Raven, right, is that I was just listening to what Brother Stanley was saying. He was saying that the black people who do not need the help, right? And what I've noticed, the ones who don't need the help seem to unite with the non-Africans to sabotage the ones who are trying to do the grassroots. So that is very problematic because you understand what I'm saying?
That's untrue.
No, it's very true. It's very true.
I would tend to disagree.
How would you disagree?
I just said, for folks who need your wisdom, you're an important source of wisdom. That's all I said. Isn't that a compliment?
Well, there's been proof and evidence of the unsynchronized Africans, right, who has confessed that they don't. Well, look at when it comes to our freedom fighters. You know, they've always said that they want to do their own thing.
Freedom
and then for
fighters,
some reason,
where?
Today?
Where?
On the continent, in the diaspora, we have proof and evidence that they've always said that we're going to do our own thing, so to say, and then helped out with non-African people to sabotage when we're doing grassroots. You see?
Do we have proof of success?
What do you mean, do we have proof of success?
Are there not black people who have done well in the diaspora?
No, we
Are you
haven't
saying? Are
collectively.
you saying?
Go on.
Well, collective. I would say. I mean, if you really break down,
Mm-hmm.
and if you want to look at
Mm-hmm.
ADOS, and that's just the black group that I'm very familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Most black people in America are
Mm-hmm.
successful. Am I
That's
wrong?
you are wrong. You are very wrong in that
Mm-hmm.
statement.
No,
And
don't.
Then be
Yeah.
very specific where I'm wrong, sir.
well, you just said that most black people in America are successful, but there's many challenges that black Americans go through. Many, and there's many groups that go through hardship. So that's what
Challenges
yeah,
doesn't preclude success.
I'm talking about poverty, access to adequate food.
Most black Americans are not below the poverty line.
What?
Brother, you really
Literally, most black people in America are not below the poverty line. There are more white people on things like welfare. Look at the stats.
but with this before we join, we're talking about Empress Kush and is that 94? I could be wrong. Is that 90? Maybe I'm wrong. Welcome, sisters. If you are sisters, then the new person.
Yeah, bless up, gentlemen. Bless up, man.
Welcome, sister.
Big up, sis. Big up.
So today's topic, as you know, whenever we talk about marrying black women, it goes somewhere else. But today's topic that we're covering is: do racists marry black people? We discuss why constructive black man with constructive black woman is important, and we showed this video. We're gonna play it one more time. Maybe Stanley missed it, so we'll play it one more time.
No.
So this is an
Put yours,
American. This is an American police with a black woman, and we believe this is him with his wife.
Put yours, nigger trash.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Keep talking.
I will.
Okay.
With me, you class.
What you gonna do?
I tell you what. You
I'm a stupid nigga, everybody.
yeah,
I'm a
she
stupid
is a
nigga.
stupid nigger.
He hit my plate. I'm a stupid
Go
nigger.
fix your car. And stop honking at people when you don't need
Shut
to.
your
There you go.
Dude is like some dude looks like a New Jersey Turnpike gas station. So you're basically saying that this interaction is like what every black person goes through?
So I'm just going to
Really?
read something. No one's saying that. That's your trolling technique, and we understand what you do. But
It's not a troll. I'm watching your video, Raven.
Would you like it? Should I say goblin technique? I don't know if troll might be too much. I'll say goblin technique.
Dude, I'm
Now, I'm just going to read a statement here. Among social groups, black Americans are the second most likely to experience poverty. 21% living below the poverty threshold, following the Native Americans. So what we're saying is the group that was decimated, the Native Americans, who were like smaller number, they're seen as the most poverty, right? But apart from, and they're like the equivalent of the Aboriginal in Australia. But outside that group, you can push them aside because they got everything else. Blacks are the most highly experienced to go through poverty at 21%, living below the poverty threshold. So
nigger triggers you. That seems to be your point.
No, once again, we understand you might not understand certain concepts, right? And we get that. And we're not trying to bash you.
Dude, I'm watching your video. It is literally something you played, and I'm not triggered by it.
Hold on, I'm just going to meet you.
Why are you?
Should I say goblin or should I say troll? Now, the goblin technique you're trying, yeah? I want you to answer, why have we played this video on the Black Band broadcast? Now, enlighten us. Hold on, I'm just going to unmute you. Too many, what? You can't unmute because you have to unmute yourself. I haven't muted you. You have to unmute unless you're trying to gather your notes together.
Oh, I'm just sorry that you're triggered by all this.
No, not triggered at all. This is a week.
I think you are. You're showing the video, dude. This is your show.
Once again, hold on. Now listen. If you're gonna troll, hold on, Stanley.
I'm mute.
Brother Stanley, take heed. If you're gonna troll, at least troll right. Okay?
I'm not trolling.
You're answering no questions, and this is
trying.
Yeah. Now we expect a high quality premium troll from someone such as yourself. So the question is, why do you think we have played this video? Go ahead. Why do you think?
I think you're triggered.
No, no, you know what's the
Someone
question?
uses the N word somewhere out in the diaspora that we know is racist. So you're going to let that ruin your day,
No.
apparently. And you
So once
do.
again, you might not be equipped to helping black people. This will be a demonstration.
You do.
You're not equipped, and you're demonstrating. So I won't
No, I'm not.
we know.
I
So
agree.
we're saying, of course. So we're saying
You are equipped.
Hold on 2 minutes so we can make it clear. Why have
You
we?
are equipped.
Yeah, I might put you down. I don't want to, but you're gobbling, right? Why have we shown this video to the audience? What is it about it that makes it important for us to view?
I think black people should know this sort of stuff exists. I don't disagree with that.
You don't. You don't understand.
Oh, dude, I grew up in the American South. I've heard the N word from white people a bunch.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
You don't think I grew up in?
I think you're gobbling.
Really? I think once you have heard that word so much, you overcome white people.
Yo, Raven, can I ask you a quick question, Raven? And Brother Kel, to be fair, yeah?
No, certainly can.
Yeah, big up yourself, Stanley. Long time, yeah? So, I hear you lot are having a debate with Stanley for whatever reason, yeah? So, Stanley is an unsynchronized person. Is that correct?
Very true.
So what's the big debate about? What's all this debating with an unsynchronized person? Because when I listen to Kale, the way you're supposed to deal with unsynchronized people is to banish them and allow them and forget about them. So why all this debating with an unsynchronized person? I don't understand it.
So I'll explain. So what it is we do use case studies. So the thing is, a lot of people are intimidated to come on the show and speak. This is very true. We do welcome unsynchronized people just to pick their brains and case study their behavioral patterns, and it is quite important.
What do you mean pick their Raven? What do you need? Okay, sorry to get hyper, but what do you need to pick their brains about?
So what we try to do here is demonstrate the pathology of why people do what they do. If the context, if the theme asks for it. So right now the theme is let me switch over. Oh, no, I've lost it. So the question we're at the moment is: do racist people marry black people? We discuss why constructive black man with constructive black woman is important. Now, one of the theories I push forward is this concept.
Yeah, but you're having a conversation with someone that's not about that, so I don't understand the sensibility of it. What are we supposed to learn from Stanley? With all due respect, what am I supposed to learn from Stanley?
Well, apparently nothing.
Well, hold on, Stanley, because Stanley is very important in the sense of he demonstrates the mindset of many men who are engaging in relationships with non-black people. And what they do is they use forms of trolling to constantly slow down progression. So what we should never do is, brother, sister, is we never get angry and we always are aware of what they're doing. Now, the thing is, Brother Stanley doesn't have priority in the sense of once a person is consistently unsynchronized, if people come on who are synchronized, the will of what they want to do can actually dictate this case of the show. But until they make their case, we will just go with what we're going with, because we have a certain amount of time dedicated to topic 1, topic 2. But sister, if you came and you said, you know what, here's what I want to do, because Brother Stanley is unsynchronized and nothing he does is synchronized, then he would lose priority over someone like yourself. Does that make sense?
I mean, to be honest, Brother Raven, right? I'm following Kale's vibrations, right? And when I listen to Kale and he talks about unsynchronization, blah blah blah, he says we're supposed to bun them out, don't chat to them, and send them to Coventry. You see what I'm saying to you? So that's fine.
Hold on, sis. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Let me give you a perfect example. Right now, we're full, as in no more people can add, but we've got a new person to join. So look at the panel, brother. Unless we're case studying directly, brother Stanley will have to leave because he's the one who contributed less to Black Women. So we're now demonstrating that, right? So, brother.
No, but I'm not trying to get Stanley Dash off in it. I'm really trying to question the vibration.
What you're doing is important. What you're doing is important. Hold on, I'm going to demonstrate, right? So now we've got a new person called Cotton Socks. Welcome, sister. So what I'm saying is, this is how the show works.
Everyone.
Welcome. it's a constant case study, right? And what
They
we're saying
do.
is what we
That's
should
out.
do,
But
what
Raven,
we
when
should
you
do,
say a case study, yeah, with all due
yes.
respect, I'm trying to understand what you mean, because what is there to study?
Well, here's what it is, right? This show at certain point will be people who are synchronized, people who want to move forward with black stuff and black unity, right? Because it's the nature of the show. There is a value in talking to the unsynchronized, not consistently. The thing is, with Brother Stanley, he's a consistent troll.
Okay,
Does
there's
that
a
make sense?
value in
There is,
say that one again. There's a value in speaking to the unsynchronized, yeah.
well, there's a value in case studying, right? Understanding the mindsets within the community. There's a value in that,
What
right?
do you
Because
mean?
are you listening? The thing
Of
is,
course, I'm listening
what it is
intensely.
what I'm saying is, in order for us to know something, we have to do the research, right? And in order, if we see patterns, we have to try to think what creates these patterns, what triggers them. Now, I'll push one thing forward, and maybe I'm wrong. When black men date black women, like non-black women, this, from my research, is one of the primal reasons why black men become unsynchronized. And you know, I'm challenging someone to present other evidence, but I think this is a primary thing. Today, the topic is we discuss why constructive black man with constructive black woman is important. And Brother Stanley is kind enough to be a case study of someone who is unsynchronized, who might be triggered by this exact point. Does that make sense, sister?
I mean, to be honest, I'm hearing you, and obviously I can hear what you're saying, but to me that contradicts what Kel says. You see what I'm saying to you?
Well, here's what it is.
So
Yeah, go on, brother.
Here's
You want
what
to
it
say
is.
something, brother?
Wherever you've met Brother Kel in what platform and the strategies, that's fine. And then if certain strategies work, or maybe you're interpreting different, that's fine. But here, I've just said that this panel is full. And how we give a perfect example. If there was a non-black person on this panel, right, and they've joined and they're talking about whatever, even if they're constructive, code tells me that if we're full, they have to leave and a black person to come off, because this show is for black betterment. Yeah. So that also works down priorities of synchronization. If someone's on the show and they're unsynchronized, people who want to get on who are synchronized get priority. Does that make sense, sister?
yeah, I'm hearing you, Bob. I'm
Yeah.
definitely hearing you, man.
So the power I want to give to the users and yourself is you have the power to come on when there's someone's unsynchronous and go, brother, I want to talk about this issue. Can we move on? And then the case study of the unsynchronized troll is no longer important. We can move on. But you have so I never want any viewer to think they are powerless in what is happening. You are part of how the show moves forward. But at certain times there will be value in talking to the unsynchronized and maybe even a non-black person. We haven't really had that yet. We've had one or two situations where a non-black person jumped on and they also trolled as well. And then they had their time.
Okay, cool. So Stanley's a case study, yeah. He's a case study of the unsynchronized.
He's
Is that correct?
a very important case study because he has all the trademarks of an unsynchronized person. And from what I'm pushing forward, I suspect the motivation behind his unsynchronization is what I push forward. And he has to confirm that or deny that. I suspect he won't because he's doing a new type of trolling. But this is why we have to think outside the box and stuff. One thing we can't do is be frustrated with ourselves when we're trying to be better. Yeah. And if you're ever confused, you can always ask me, and I can always tell you the methodology of what I'm trying to do. Sometimes it seems weird and odd, but remember I say it's always better to play chess than checkers. And I like to think that in my time at Speaker's Corner online, I'm constantly playing chess, never checkers. That's what I like to think. But I could be mistaken. But we're joined by Cotton Socks as well as Melanie Goddess. So welcome to the panel, sisters. I assume sisters. Black Bearman.
Love, brother.
Welcome. Do you have any? So we haven't covered the second topic, but it might be one that you ladies might be more interested in. But the first one we tackle is: do racists marry black people? We discuss why constructive black men with constructive black women is important. Would you like us to move to the second topic, or do you have anything to add to what you've just seen at all?
I wanted to address me being blocked on this channel, if that's okay, Mr. Raven.
Yeah, have you been blocked? I'm not too sure. Who
Yeah,
blocked you?
this account right here is blocked, so
Really?
that's why I was chatting you saw my messages with my other account, and it's just weird to me that I randomly got blocked
How did you get in at the moment then if you're blocked?
because I can hit the link, but I can't type in the chat. I'm blocked.
Okay.
So who's the mods on the channel?
I think we have two. Were
What's
you
up,
saying
family? Hi,
big up,
it's
Mr.
Mr. Kushti.
Big up, sister. Big up.
Big up, brother Cal. Listen, bro, I want to address you, bro, if that's okay.
Yeah.
If Raven will allow that in this Black Betterment arena.
Go
I
ahead.
think like there's definitely things that needs to be addressed to the brother, and this is a good kind of template to do it in. But to answer sis, because sis melanated, I'm a mod, and sis she reigns a mod, and then you've got brother Raven. So obviously I know sis she reign ain't blocked you unless like she'll put it in the chats now if she did, but I doubt it, and I didn't block you willingly. So I think, you know, it's definitely not your mods.
Yeah, I don't remember blocking you.
Is the channel code held or like ran besides you, Raven? Is there anyone who could go live or have access?
No, no one has keys.
No.
Well, Raven could go and see who blocked you, can't he now? Don't they have the powers? It's Vedi, you who I blocked, so Raven must have
that's
them
my thing.
powers too.
I think it's gonna be a mistake once
Like
it's
an accident, yeah.
like
Okay.
I can't figure out if it might. I'm sure there's some kind of error. I'm right click and see if there's anything from. Well, you must understand that I'm not too technically savvy at what's happening in this kind of mod world. So I don't know how I would unblock you if you are blocked. I'm ignorant to think that the fact that you're here not blocked, you're saying you can't make comments, right? Now, was there a time you were saying something?
oh wow, that's happened to Dominic as well. I've been blocked too on my other account.
Okay, well, here's what it is. I mean, I'm aware that certain topics and certain channels get shadow banned and problematic things happen to them. I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but as far as I'm aware, no one, even Brother Stanley says certain things that's very unsynchronized, and even he isn't blocked. I don't think he is. He have to ask that. But I think it's some kind of confusion. But if you still can't enter it, we'll try to get to the heart of it. But I will need some insistence of how to do that because I have no idea.
Yeah, but just to let the sister know, she's not been purposely blocked.
Yeah. I hope that makes clear. And also, Sister She Range is here, but she can't get in. So, is it right if someone stops that? Maybe Brother Kel for a bit, just so we have the women here.
Yeah, sure.
No, I don't know. I don't mind dropping out and Kel can stay on.
No, it's all right, beloved. Yeah. It's all right, beloved. You stay on. I'll drop out. Big up, man.
There you go, family.
Stay in it. I was just gonna say, be around though, Cal.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Greetings, everybody. It's She Reigns. I thought I was blocked at one point a moment ago as well, but what I did was I scrolled down and I was able to access the chat because I've kind of come in and out of the show because of reception in my flat, and I thought I couldn't contribute, but then I just scrolled down because you know how YouTube is sometimes. It's like if you keep on scrolling, it just gives you different streams or different videos or whatever. So try scrolling down until you get.
Sis, I was in this. So the same avatar you see here, I was in here as Melanie the Goddess. I was able to comment in the chat, but then when I switched it from live view to all messages, my messages would disappear each time I put.
But are you talking about the actual? Are you talking about StreamYard or are you talking about YouTube?
YouTube. And I kept saying, can anyone see my messages? No one said they could see my messages. So I went in on YouTube and I changed to my another YouTube account. I came in and everyone could see my messages. I can go back later on and go to the stream and those messages are there. So that means that my other account is blocked.
Well, it isn't intentional, is what we're trying to say. And Sister Kushti did send it to the moderators page and highlighted it. So if it occurs next week, then obviously we'll have to investigate it. But glad that you're on the platform now. And yeah, don't think it's intentional because it isn't.
No.
Is this your first time on the show?
No.
No.
But thank you for clearing that up.
Okay.
Yeah, and if anyone thinks they're blocked, let us know, because it's not something we do. And usually we talk out loud when, like, we talk out loud in the sense of something's happening that's unsynchronized or doesn't work with the platform, and we're going to have to block you for a certain amount of time. But to be honest with you, blocking isn't something I really agree in doing. I would like everyone to have, you know, civilized debates and stuff, and follow rules. But I guess maybe if some rules are broken, then we have to block. But I can't remember blocking anyone, to be honest. No, but I could be wrong. But
no, you haven't done that before, Brother Raven. You haven't done that before, so it's not something that you have the control panels to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but we're glad you're here, and you're part of the team. So we're joined by a new Cotton Socks, a Melee Goddess, Empress Kush, She Reigns, and obviously is that Auntie? I can't read that. And sister there, Nanifa, I believe. So shall I move to the next topic? Are too many black men emotionally aggressive when courting? And how do we protect black women from aggressive harassment? Should I move on to that, or should I is there anything you want to add to this racist marrying black concept right here? Anyone? No.
I kind of came on because of Brother Stanley, really, if I'm honest with you.
Well, did you want to, he's still there. He's still waiting in the patiently.
Yeah, just for me, it's really difficult to comment on the American experience, because obviously the American experience is very different to ours. Mm-hmm. So as much as I know we're trying to accommodate and we're trying to reason with the brother, unless you've lived there for a long period of time, I think you'd have more of an understanding of the mentality of our brothers and sisters overseas. So for me, I understand Brother Raven, reasoning and being patient with Brother Stanley and stuff, because obviously we are learning his mentality. It is quite repetitive, and it is there hasn't really been much of an ascension, and that's not. I'm not commenting on your mental attributes or anything. Just the feedback that you give on this subject is always the same. There doesn't seem to be any evolution or any kind of room to maneuver or understand. There's always a rebuke of the topics that Brother Raven talks about, and Brother Kel always talks about synchronicity, and he's even coined that term within this platform for such a long time. And I just feel that for me personally, if I saw some sort of growth in your comments every week, then I would say, yeah, it's great for you to contribute continuously, but your contribution seems to be quite stale, and it's the same type of rebuke every single time. I don't know if anyone on the panel agrees or disagrees with me, but that's my opinion, and it's a bit stale. And I think that's why the sister came on and said, like, why are you still on the platform, blah 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 blah, because it's as if you enjoy being where you are, and you don't actually want to excel or kind of have a flight into a different arena. You're stuck in your ways, you're stuck in your opinions, and you're not really leaving much room for maneuver. And that's me being very respectful to you, Brother Stanley, but yeah, your comments each week are quite stale, and it's the same rebuke. So that's my opinion. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say, or you can move on, Brother Raven, but I just came on just to say that.
Thank you, sister. So
that was like pretty much it in a nutshell. I think she just summed it up there.
Pretty much. Just to add to the sister, just to add to that, I do think sometimes what trolling people do, and forgive me for the words, is they try to find ways to sustain their trolling. So when the concept of living in another land is valid, that there will be differences, but we've had many brothers and sisters from America and Canada and different places which they explain the differences, but they explain what they synchronize with and where they can relate. Brother Stan doesn't do that, so he has all the hallmarks of the troll, and he seems to be more triggered when we talk about black men and black women. So once again,
are you trying to synchronize him, Raven?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
So then,
not.
what's the point? Then what's the point of your discussions and debate? Then I don't understand.
So one of the things,
If you're not trying to
is-
synchronize him, what's the point?
So one of the things we try to do is we try to have case studies and we try to see them in flesh and actually flesh them out and go, okay, we suspect that this topic and this person, these type of people will be triggered by this thing, and here's how we're going to deal with it. So this concept of innovates is one way. So what we say is we acknowledge that not every Black person can actually be a part of a process of coming up with ideas that is constructive for Black people to move forward. And that's why when Brother Stanley was on here, I asked him some questions, and one of the simple questions was, can you give us a kind of tangible thing that Black people can do collectively that will bring us forward? And if you listen to him, you realize he said absolutely nothing. But then he would want to use certain languages.
Yeah, but why are you going to expect a different answer from an unsynchronized person? I don't get it.
No, sister. The thing is, you've got to understand that this is how it works. When you're studying behaviors and you're lucky enough to see them live, right? This is gold dust because it further proves the point. It further strengthens what we're doing. We have many models on here that we use live when we ask people certain questions, and without fail, they go through the stages. Now, you might have missed some shows and not seen some things. You become consistent. You'll see that, yes, we're hitting somewhere. But the most important thing is, at no point do we ever think that brothers like that will ever be part of anything constructive for Black people. Matter of fact, we've already highlighted that.
So what's the point? What's the point? I don't understand. What's the point?
Hold on, sister. What I want you to analyze is, have you noticed that regardless of what happens, my demeanor is the same? Yeah? My demeanor is the same.
Raven, your demeanor what does that mean, bro? I don't understand. Like, do you know what? Let me just go on mute and allow the other people to talk, because I'm getting a bit frustrated because I'm not understanding what you're saying. The guy is he's unsynchronized.
Hold on.
But we're debating.
We're going to meet you. I'm going to have to meet you now. Hold on. And that's what I'm saying, sister. This is very important. We're going to deal with two different ends of the spectrum. We're going to deal with unsynchronized people who have no interest in helping Black people at all. And then we're going to deal with passionate brothers and sisters who find it hard to understand certain concepts. Now, you have to understand that regardless of what we go through here, it should never trigger us to lose our own discipline, because the motivation of trolls is to do that. Is if I can go in there and make the synchronized unsynchronized, if I can make them fight and squabble and use unsynchronized language, then I've won. And what I'm saying is, at no point in our Discord should we allow that. But what we can do is have priority where a brother or sister can come and say, brothers, I've heard enough of this. I want to push it this way. And because I'm now part of the panel, can we do that? And we have a priority where the synchronized brothers and the Black people will always have priority over the unsynchronized and the non-Black, right? So this is how we navigate. Right now we've got a full house, I think. We've got a full house and it's all sisters is what we like. And I've asked the questions many times. And the question is, sisters, would you like me to go over this topic of Black man and Black women, or move on to are too many men emotionally aggressive when courting, right? And I've got a video to play to highlight that. And that's what I'm trying to say, sister. Like, this is how the show runs. It's very organic, and the people that can control it. At the end of the day, whenever a troll comes in, we don't fight the troll. We don't we have dismissed the troll.
Why are you calling him a troll instead of unsynchronized or a coon? Why are you calling him a troll?
Okay, can I just add in a little point here?
Go ahead, sister.
Can we address the Black female trolls that troll pro-Black men like Kel, who are Black men and they say are not Black men? Like, can we address that? Because I think that's a problem as well, and that needs to get addressed, because that's not right.
I'm not too sure what you mean, sister.
So Brother Kel has been persecuted for the last couple of days because he said his mother's side is Black Arabs.
Right,
and apparently pro-Black people on YouTube say that he's not Black now and he can't talk on Black issues.
That's a different platform, sis. And I'm not aware of what you're talking about, so you need to give context.
Yeah,
and even so, maybe that's not even for this
That's
show.
what I wanted to kind of jump. I wanted to like
Okay.
kind of talk to
Okay.
Brother Cal about that as well, because like Brother Raven did say that, and this platform is kind of a platform where you can control things and talk about it. So I think that's perhaps why the sister wants to come on and show support to Cal, because I've not been around. I didn't even see the original stream that it came from, but the sister that's talking actually was there, so she was there, so that's why she's probably got that kind of passion, because just from the snippet that I heard as well, like I don't respect that at all. So I just want like Brother Cal to know that, like I don't know if he was there or if he saw the live, because I jumped in and said my part on that as well, but I just want him to know that as well, because you know, after having hearing more about it, and I've not had a chance to look at all of it, but what I've heard is just, yeah, I didn't know it was that bad, Brother Cal. So I just think that is, yeah, this is what I'm saying. And I've said this to before, that I don't understand why brothers who have a certain mindset tend to be the hardest targets within our community. Like, it's just actually a joke. Like,
Well,
well,
just so you know, sisters, this is, and those of you, I would say we try to keep about ideas and institutions, not individuals. So a person's private life isn't on debate here, unless they push it directly on the show to make it a point. Now, Brother Cal hasn't come and said anything, and even if he did, this, regardless of whatever, the brother's still a brother. I mean, he's still, whatever people try to do.
Of course, he's still a brother. That's exactly what we're saying on here. We're not arguing that point, but I just wanted to let the brother know that, and I think that's all the sister wanted to do as well. I don't think we're like, the information that's already been told has already been told, but I think that maybe she was just, because she was trying to explain it and she was asked a direct question, I think that's why she just answered specifically to what they were saying. But yeah. So, but yeah, I just wanted to, like, because that was just, that was just wild.
Who are these people?
No problem, bro. Like, I'm glad you didn't get any offense. Like, I'm glad he's not had any offense from it anyway. So I think he understands where we're coming from. But yeah, it was just actually shocking. Like,
wow.
Okay, well, I haven't seen. If someone wants to give me a link of unsynchronized behavior, I'm full. But all I'm saying is here, there's no issue. And once again, this is what I'm saying. The people making claims, the question we have to say is, how credible are they as a person in the community doing constructive work? Because this is another thing. Everyone can make a claim and wait for someone to slip up to say, look, you slipped up, or, oh, look, this information means that. But what are they actually doing? And you have to understand that the person who's the most pro-black, the most pro-black love, the most pro-black economics will be the biggest target. And as soon as someone starts talking about, oh, your great-great-grand has this, your skin color is this, you're from this tribe, they've already lost. They've disqualified themselves. Because you tend to find that once those people, regardless of what they feel, once again, it comes down to, I suspect, they are engaging in behaviors with non-black people that's motivating action. Literally, it's almost like some kind of social science that has fall from heaven. It's like literally. So that's why I was asked, who are these people and what have they done? And usually they're saboteurs, right? Or they have saboteur behavior. So once again, sisters, I have no idea what we're talking about, but we appreciate Brother Cal's consistent work on the show. The words he gives are very important. And he's part of the building.
Definitely, Brother Cal. Big up to you, man.
Yeah, big up to you, Brother Cal.
Big up to you. And can I just say as well, like, this always goes back to education. It always goes back to education, and people from certain diasporas not educating themselves on different cultures, on the geography, history, all of these things, and being really involved in current affairs and stuff like that. So if there's a lack of knowledge of history, geography, anthropology, and all of these things, you will get that negative knockback. And this is what I keep on pushing, where people need to have formal education when it comes to, I don't want to call it Black history studies, but history studies where we look at the Black man within it, and we look at the migrations that have happened over centuries, over long periods of time, thousands of years and stuff like that, as to why we are where we are. And that's something that I'm always, promoting and pushing. But, if people just kind of pick up sound bites here and there and watch a little TikTok here, you know, and they haven't actually had formal training. I think that's where it's very problematic. They haven't read books. They haven't, you know, been in environments where there's a pro-historic, educating discussion or environment. Then you will find people who will just kind of pick things here and there, and they don't really have a timeline understanding of where we've been and where we are at, and also where we're going. So, as I said again, big up, Brother Kel, yeah, or every time.
Before we move on, so thanks for that, yeah, sister. So yeah, well, so just to highlight the structure of the show, we tend to have a 2 hours, maybe 1 to 2 to 3 hour show sometimes, and we have topics. And if I start the show, I play a video, I give my opinions, and it's half an hour, and no one jumps in, the show ends. If a troll jumps in, we talk to a troll. If a constructive person comes, we talk to a constructive person. Black people and constructive synchronized black betterers have priority over unsynchronized or non-black people. This is the consistency of the show. And a constructive person can come in and say, all right, brother, we want to move on to this for this reason, and they will have priority. I hope that makes understanding the template easier. But if no one jumps on, our shows will be 15 minutes. So we look forward to more sisters and brothers jumping in, but just to minimize confusion, that will happen. So whenever you see any kind of content that you might not be best pleased with, you always have the power, if you are black and constructive, and to jump in and say, okay, can we move on to this? And your wishes will be granted because you have priority in that concept. Hope that makes listening easier, so you don't have to endure back-to-back case studies of trolling or unsynchronized behavior. So we're joined again by Brother Stan. He's on the platform. But to the platform sisters, shall I move on to the next topic, or is there anything else you guys might want to do or say, because you guys are part of the heartbeat of the show?
I'm happy for you to move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so am I. Happy.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
There you go. And I think we lost. I think she came on just to give support to Brother Kel. So big up to that sister. Once again, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know what goes on outside of it, but it doesn't really, like I said, in order for us to be affected by outside of it, they have to have high merit. If a person who was in the streets, in the community, doing the work, synchronized, promoting Black love, Black economics, Black health, their words might really resonate and hurt. But if they're not, it would just, water off a duck's back or a black duck's back or whatever. Anyway, let's play this video. So the question for the next topic is, are too many Black men emotionally aggressive when courting? How do we protect Black women from aggressive harassment? Let's play this video. Rewind.
Can you leave me alone? Can you leave me? Excuse me. Can you help me, please? Can you leave me alone? Can you leave me alone? Back the up. You just across the tracks to come and chat to me. Go back to your star. What do you mean? Stay away from me, bro. Let me chat. No, I don't want to chat to you. Come on. Oh, I don't want to chat to you. I don't know you from anywhere. Oh. I'll follow you though. Go away. What is wrong with you? I'll follow you though. What is wrong with you? If you act up, I'll follow you. What is wrong with you? Okay, let me say my part. You've just jumped. Okay, let me say my part then. What's the part? I don't know why you're acting like that. Bro, go away. I don't want to know you. No, let me know. Let me I don't want to know you. Can you go away, please? Can you let me say my part then. Oh. Go away. Go away. You're not going to take my shit off.
All right, so that was taken some station in London. Can't remember the name. I think it's Tottenham. It looks like Tottenham.
Bruce Grove, Tottenham.
Yeah, I can tell by the way it goes down. So yeah, this is unfortunate, of course, and but this is it Peckham. I feel this. Some say Peckham, some say. But even the problem is the behavior we're tracking, and this is obviously unacceptable behavior. And yeah, we will discuss it really. It's obviously usually I go to places where I ask Black women, how they feel about many things, and I guess that's important now. The question is, are too many Black men emotionally aggressive while allegedly courting? And I suspect the Black sisters will have their own tales of historically yes or no.
Can I just jump in on this one and just say, automatically, it looks like the brother's got mental health. To walk over train tracks to go and chirp a girl, or should I say, whatever slang, because sometimes my daughter says that my slang is out of date, but to actually go through, he even had Crocs on, so I think he probably understood that the rubber would kind of stop the shock on the traps. I don't know, but some sort of mental health there, and this is quite a common occurrence in communities as well, where there are a lot of brothers who are under medication. I'm not saying that the brother is, but from my observation, it looks as though he has some mental health issues to want to do that. Luckily, the sister was able to film the event, because if she didn't have her phone and she wasn't so loud and she wasn't as proactive as she was to keep it moving and stuff like that, then this event probably happens all the time, but it was captured and it's been posted around social media. So of course it's problematic. It doesn't put brothers in a good light again, but it's unacceptable and it's intimidating, it's scary. God knows whether the story would have been, you know, kind of more traumatic, or we just don't know how the story might have ended. But as I say again, there's a lot of mental health, especially after COVID, and you know, a whole load of other things as well, and this is something that needs to be explored. So I'm glad that you are actually exploring it, because I wasn't really sure what angle you were going to come on with the question, but after seeing the footage, it is a big problem, and it happens all the time. Happens after raves, it happens when people are walking home. There was a situation around my area where I live where there was a brother, a man of IC3 description, who'd called, it was probably about 5 o'clock in the morning or so, called a woman over to his car to ask for directions, and he was undertaking illicit behavior in his car through the car window, and he tried to reach for the woman out of the car and stuff. This is early hours in the morning, so I'm saying there's a lot of mad things that are going on, and it's being reported on social media. But again, it's totally unacceptable. And what protection can we have? What is it? If she didn't have her phone and her phone battery was dead, what are the other steps that women can have or take in order to make sure that they are safe in some way? There's another question.
A good question. Is there any other sisters want to jump in before we try to answer them?
I think a lot of the points that the sis said was true. Like, even when I was watching it, that's exactly what I thought. For a man to jump on tracks and then just, when I was watching a video, because it has been a viral video, it was like quite shocking. But I think she's done a follow-up on her social media, and it's so funny that you play this, because I was just watching it, but I haven't listened to everything that she has said. But she said one of the main things she's done this is because if you would tell someone this, they'd think it's an over-exaggeration. But like, many women has probably had that kind of, especially in the underground. Yes. It's happened to me, like it's happened to a lot of people, where and especially the incident that just happened with the young girl, again, a man just not being able to take rejection, and look what happened to her, she passed away. That was very recent as well.
Yes.
So there's definitely an issue with the aggression and just the entitlement. Yeah. You know, it's definitely worrying what's out there.
Yeah. And this points are important, because we're trying to unpack, like, if we listen to the actual audio, you know, it's understand the dynamic of trying to call a woman, date a woman, chirps a woman, but using the threatening behavior, and then going from threatening behavior to now let's talk. It's very peculiar, like it's almost madness. But this is not this for me. It comes across a person who's not in control of their emotions, like being offended by concepts, like not someone who doesn't know you, doesn't want to talk to you. Like this concept seems to offend certain people. So that we have to start there with the emotions and the control and the importance of the role of a man in society. And I suspect this individual has none of that. He has no idea his role in society. if he even knows what that means. He has no idea that his job is to protect the woman and not make her feel harmed. Once again, you can go to certain community groups or certain other black groups in other places, whatever, understand this concept. But it's how do we campaign and get this concept across? But also the defense mechanism is important. Like, yes, filming. The thing is, the sister did good right in the sense of, filming. And I would say that there's some advice we can give. The issue of giving advice to sisters is we know we're going to give you advice and say, don't do this, don't do that. And then they say, even if I did that, it will still be the same. So I would say you never want to swear a name call towards an unknown person, right? I'm not saying that will stop them from pursuing you, but by not knowing the mental capacity or condition of a person, you want to have as many safety techniques as possible. So getting around people like in public so people can see you. Unfortunately, I think the sister did say she called out for some non-black people who were partying and they didn't help or something like this. I have to read her statements as well. But as men, we have to put ourselves in the position of the men who think that way. And also, if we're aware of them, name and shame, call them out, and that's really what doing just an embarrassment and have repercussions, really. And we have to talk about it, Let me get Brother Kel back. He's back. Brother Kel. Welcome, Brother Kel.
Betterment, brother.
Betterment.
Yeah, brother, the sisters, right, they're going to have to practice the political science, man, because I liken it to, like what, we've gone through in America and over here with the police, trying not to overreact until there's like collective power to go against the unsynchronized black man would be better, because I've noticed, and strangely enough, and I was speaking to my nephew, and he was saying that like some of his friends, they're saying that now we're going to start, if women behave a certain way, we're going to start bombing them, and that is kind of a word, we're hitting them. And I was explaining to him, like, ins and that, no, we're not going to do that. So there seems to be like a movement of, if we get rejected, this is what's going to happen. So until the security of protecting black women, obviously we're starting little things small by small. It would be better if the sisters don't like overreact, even though they have a right to. But until there's safety and there's some collective that will protect them, it will be in their best interest. You know what I mean?
If this what you're saying is true, this is
actually worrying to hear that is becoming some sort of a trend.
Yeah,
that is actually really worrying. And you know what's even worse? It's like when you're in that moment, it's a fight or flight moment, right? It's not a moment that you can anticipate, like when you're going to go into the workplace or some sort of like institution. It's always a fight or flight moment for a female when they're in that kind of situation. More times it's exactly the type of situation that she's in. Number one, you're alone because they never have the strength to do it when you're not, right? Number two, it's probably not going to be in a really public area anyway, although there are still people on there. So even when I saw, there's a longer version of that video where she's like, excuse me, can you help me? You can hear her asking people like, can you help me? Can you help me? No one's helping her. So that's you know what I mean? So there are people watching this man jump on a track and walk towards her, and you can constantly tell her, I'm not interested. She's not rude, which we can give her a blight to even be rude in that situation, especially when you're jumping on the tracks. Like if someone's jumping on tracks to walk to you, this is what I'm saying, and you're on your own. She said it was 9:30 at night. Fight and flight is already now because you're on your own and this man is directly walking on tracks to come and talk to you. And like Sis She-Ray said, now you already know that his mental health is not too well and he don't care. And she's still calm, saying, I don't want to talk to you. Please leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. Please leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. Then she's telling people, can you help me, please? Can you help me, please? And she just keeps on walking. And she says the only reason why she stopped filming at that time, that's why she had to do a video, because people wanted to see if she was all right, what happened. And she said the reason why she had to lock it off is because he literally was going for her phone.
Yeah.
So you
yeah,
can
yeah.
hear him near the end saying, I'm going to get your phone. I'm going to get your phone. So she said she just stopped filming and hid her phone because she knew that he was going to get her phone.
Yeah. So two things.
I'm just saying that to say that, you know, he's right that you have to stay calm and stuff like that, what Brother Carl was saying. But what I'm saying is that you have to be, it'd be understandable if you'd not. You have to have all your senses on. That's like, imagine if you're tired, you're just coming home from work. Right? What if you're thinking about something that is worrying? And then for Brother Cal, which is right for him to do, is announce that that kind of trend is going on, where if you get rejected, to do that, you know, that's important.
Let me add this this is very, very important points, and I'm going to try to let women into the mind of men just so you can understand certain concepts. Whenever a justice has happened to someone, it makes sense for them to be angry. It makes sense to react and not have a preparation in their mind and just go with what makes sense then. And they can't be seen as wrong ever. But, and it's very important, but when it comes to strategies, the way you got to see is like, if a man wants to assassinate another man and he's part of a group, they'll say, look, when you go to this man, I know you don't like him, but be friendly, be happy, be smart. And when he turns around, shoot me in the back of the head, right? So that means they're saying controlling your behavior, whether you're right or wrong, to get a certain thing done. When a woman is preferred by a madman or a man in general, she's at a disadvantage. And as men, we're going to try to give her the best, because we know that a man can overpower a woman most times, right? So it's what tools do we give her to make her live? Some say just shoot them in the head. Some might say, okay, we don't have that kind of behavior here. We don't have it in this kind of country. So it's like, you have to get next to other people to heighten the chance of safety. You don't want to damage the man's ego, right? So have strategies to not damage you. Not that his ego is worth of anything, but if you damage his ego and you're alone, then the chance of you being assaulted might be heightened. So you have to have a kind of survival mechanism.
Say that again, sorry.
So what you don't want to damage his ego in that concept, right? So the idea is,
so one second. What can you please define what damaging his ego means, please?
So this has to come from the woman's assessment of the behavior pattern of the person, right? So it's like, if you see an aggressive tendency, and that is looking like it's going into a kind of fight mode, you don't want to match that fight mode unless you actually want to fight him where you've been trained, you've got weapons on you or something like this, right? So it's assessing that and thinking, okay, I'm at a disadvantage here. How can I minimize this anxiety and this behavior to get into a safe point or to get to a place where I can defend myself? So that should be it is feeding a deception. I mean, it's going against a eternal best judgment. That's why I gave the example of the assassin. You see, where you're smiling, you're laughing, but you hate the guy, but when it turns around, you shoot him. And that's a man example. Because with men know who they can and can't win against, right? But if they need to win, they'll develop a plan, and that plan might be smile today, shoot tomorrow, right? And these are the methods that, now I think there's a system once again, but we are practice, so this is she reigns. But I'm saying that this is some of the concept that we as men are going to try to let sisters know. And it's hard because it's not a way of thinking that many women will think like, but our concern is you're dealing with a madman or a crazed man or a low self-esteem man who has the ability to overpower you. So it's what strategies can get home safe. Does that make sense, Sister Ananifa?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. It is hard because sometimes you see hard stuff and you think, well, why
so
should
what are you teaching the men? You're teaching us to be able to manage their ego. I understand that. What are you teaching the men?
So there's two stages. There's how men who don't do that treat men who do that. And then there's the
okay, so start with that. How do they treat men that do that? How do you treat them?
So I was seeing a lot of guys on YouTube talking about having ways to highlight shame, making certain behaviors shameful. So in street culture, doing a crime with someone else and telling them, you get called a rat. And they've made that concept like the worst thing to be called in that kind of culture, right? Well, in the black culture, abusing women, we want a similar kind of feeling. Yeah, we want a similar kind of feeling where it's like you're an abuser. You hit the black woman wherever it is, or you stalk the black woman.
So how do you go about that? Because
So
you can't do that for the unsynchronized. So how are you gonna do that for the domestic abusers?
well, I'm not sure what you mean there, but what is this is the topic, isn't
What
it?
I'm
This is
saying is that you don't call out the unsynchronized, you accommodate them. So I want to know what you're gonna do to the abusers. That's what I'm saying.
well, here's what it is, right? Unsynchronization happens on many stages with a point that becomes problematic to dangerous. So anything that a person doing that isn't that doesn't correlate back with the best interest is unsynchronized. When it comes to the point where someone's life is in danger or someone's an abuser or a predator, then they're not protected by any form of betterment. You're allowed to do whatever you want in the sense of if they get arrested, no one can promote them, no one can help them, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff, right? Calling them out. There's certain gentlemen on, well, I don't know if it's been proven or not, on who are rappers and singers who have allegedly tried to get with young women, right? And once it was out, these things came out, and no one would support them, right? And they're known for it, and rightly so, in the sense of if that's what you've been doing and you've been caught out, then society turns their back on you, and you cannot come here. And when you get in trouble, there's no way for you to turn. So that kind of behavior is warranted.
So can you give an example of where that's occurred?
So there's a rapper, I forget his name. I think it's Dutch something, Dutch Valley or something like this. This is what I've heard of. And apparently, his stuff was leaked where he was talking to a young cousin or a young friend of a cousin, or friend of a friend's daughter, in a ways that was inappropriate when it came out, and everyone is turning their back on him. No one's supporting him, and he cannot progress in many circles or come on any kind of platform or show to further whatever he was doing prior.
I mean, that's fair enough regarding Gacciavelli. You know what I mean? Obviously, a lot of people that would have done that would have been. But what about just the local mandem? Like mandem on roll, just not the stars, not the celebrities, just the local mandem that mandem know are on fuck shit and say nothing.
I don't know what you said there, but trying to swear if it were, it kind of jumped, but you cannot swear again.
I said, okay, Raven. I said, okay, I understand what you're saying about Gacciavelli, but it could be argued he's a celebrity, this, that, never. But what about the local people? Yeah, just the local man, them that ain't known into the media, this and that, about that on nonsense. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. The same thing has to.
I'm saying that man, them don't call them out. That's what I'm saying. Straight.
Yeah, well, this is what we're dealing with now. Once we recognize there's a problem,
do you call them out?
Of course. Well, here's what it is.
Give me an instance of where you called them out.
So let me give you. Before I even give you that instance, let me tell you my reputation. There's many organizations that people say don't let him in. They say don't let him in, and the reason they say don't let me in is because they know as soon as I come in, even things like swear words. If a person swears, I pull them up on it, right? When it comes to being non-black, I pull people up on it. When it comes to not marrying black, I pull people up on it. Pull code to stop this from happening. And when it comes to abusing women or men, but we'll focus on women, it's a no tolerance. You're out. You're out. You're not protected. You then push into a program where you can learn from your ways or you never return. So most people don't like me because of that. They don't like the what they call the robotness of how I deal with things, where it's all actually regimented, isn't it? So the reason why when unfortunate people swear this show, I do it is because it's part of that robotic process to let people know that you cannot get by the rules that we set. Well, the rules are set for a reason, and they're holistic, and they're connected to many other things. And when you break one, it has a domino effect to break others. So that's me personally. And that's why I like to think I bring to all organizations I'm a part of. So the abusing of women is a no-no. If you're caught by it, then you're out and you're not protected, and you will be visited by certain people. And at most, at least, you will be given a path to fix what you've done until you've corrected yourself, and that will be by the judgment of the victim, if at all.
So, you know what you're saying right there, yeah? So let me ask you a question. If you knew that a man was had abused a woman, like, is there a time span for your sort of forgiveness, as it were?
No, I can't forgive. I can't forgive someone who abuses someone. It's not my job to forgive them. If they're going to be forgiven, it'll be by the victim, and the victim don't have to.
All right. So would you be amongst people that are known to be about that DV life, whether it be now, a few years ago, X amount of years ago? Do you hold them up to the same standard?
If I'm aware of any form of abuse, I distance myself straight away. If there's a process of, for example, you might get a person used to terrible things. They went to jail. They discovered a new ideology, a new religion, and stuff like that, and they've repented. And they've joined institutions to correct the wrongs they've done, and they're living in this shame. Then this is where in a past life you were destructive and you've learned your ways, and you actually trying to fix the area. There's some might argue Malcolm X might have been that kind of brother. So for this kind of concept, I can offer forgiveness as long as I'm aware that the victims are happy with the action, right? So, I mean,
when you say 1 second, as long as you know that the victims are happy with what?
If there's a person who in his past life hurt people, right? Women, right? If he has repent, tried to help them, fix himself, fix the situations, and they're happy with, I'm best pleased that he's turned his life over, he's a new man. Then
who, the victim? Wait, who, the victim?
The victim.
So how are you going to ascertain from the victim how the person feels? I don't understand.
No. The victim is letting us know this, isn't it? Because we're part of the process to correct the brother, isn't it? So the victim has come to us and said, this person is doing this, and we go, okay, we're going to handle it. And the victim has to agree that this man or this woman has improved, and they're satisfied with the shortcomings or the violations they've done, depending on the nature of the crime.
Right. So obviously, this could only be cases in which you're sort of privy to the details, though, correct?
Let me give you an example. Let me give a better example that makes sense. Until I find proof, I can't really jump out. But there's a gentleman who used to follow.
Until you find proof, yeah.
There's a gentleman who used to come follow me at Speaker's Corner. What was his name? The fact I forget his name on the back. He's got his own show, and it came out that he's done some abusive things. He was abusing Sister Afua on his station by shouting abusive things. Women who he's abused have come to other Muslim brothers in society and said he's done this. Someone like him, I wouldn't be able to stand with him and do any kind of betterment work. Unless he was on some kind of redemption platform where all the women he hurt have agreed that they're okay with him to move forward. And I'll make that very clear when I'm on Sister Africa's page that I support your campaign against this individual, because I've come across him and I've seen this behavior in other areas, and I've tried to into a good part, but he's consistently find himself abusing women and men. But we're going to start abusing women at this point. And because of that, we can't be eye to eye or shoulder to shoulder in any kind of betterment work. Does that make sense, sister?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm hearing you, Raven. I'm hearing you, Bab. I'm hearing you, man.
Like I said, I try to lead by example, and it's ideas of individuals. But as an individual, if someone is an abuser, like case in point, in America, there's the what's his name, Brother Polite, right? That's his name. He's currently in jail for trying to sexually assault a 14-year-old, right? Okay, none of his work can be shown. We have to back case studies to see where it went wrong, and there's no live call or Zoom he can come in unless it's of an apologetic nature to beg for forgiveness and demonstrate how he's going to correct all the problems he's done. Does that make sense?
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Sister Shirains, I just think there's so much political correctness these days that it kind of delays a lot of action that should be taken to curtail certain behaviours. So 20 years ago, if something like this happened, you'd get a group of, say, brothers, I'll call it brothers, who would collectively get together and would show their presence as a masculine force. For example, But as time's gone on, I think people have taken on more other interests, and I just think social media's drowned a lot of things out, really. So where you'd have a voice and a focus somewhere, now the focus is everywhere. So, you know, there's no one direct place that you can look, because there's too much noise all over the place. I don't know if anybody understands what I'm trying to say here, or overstands, should I say. And I think sometimes the pragmatic approach that, you know, I can understand that you're trying to take, that kind of reformers view and stuff like that, is an option and stuff. But in some instances, some people just need to they just need to be dealt with. Sorry to say on the airwaves and stuff.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting that you're saying that, this church, right? Because a lot of us, we have, like I said this before, we have like security companies and that, right? And I know our family in London are doing the same thing as well. Those who are qualified, we're trying to train Mandem who are on road back in the days, who are affiliated, to secure the areas, right? And what we're saying is it's happening bit by bit. What we're saying is that we want the black community, right, to pay for protection against not only non-African people, but as well as unsynchronized African descendants, which is amongst us, who cause harm, right? Now, this is very effective, right? However, the catch is that when we do this, right, and we do it the legal way, some things may get out of hand. So if some of us end up going into penitentiary, etc., and that, right, then it's for the black community to take care of their family. So it doesn't feel like a big loss, you see? So we've got all these things in place, you know, right? Because it's starting in Birmingham, definitely in London, as we know. The issue is, are the community going to pay? And also, if anything does happen, are they going to look after the family? That's the only thing that is a bit problematic. But other than that, we have the facilities. Right. You know what I mean?
Very good point raised there. And that is, how do we, like, I think, if we, not that we always want to look at gangsterism, but if we look at the gangsterism in the sense of, say, the Italian mafia back in the days, there were persons that if you went to jail, family were looked after. So it's just making sure that, you know, people are gonna definitely put their lives and freedom at risk at certain situations, but they need to know that when it happens, they're not left alone. A very good example is that sister who unfortunately was shot in the head at a party. She did a lot of community work.
Sasha.
Yes, and with that sister there, she I think the guy we were talking about was called Rare Talks, so the brother just gave me the name. So Rare Talks was the guy we were talking about, who was unsynchronized before. But the sister was unfortunately shot. I'm not too sure if names will come forward, if the guys have, you know, this is what I'm saying. There is no one stepping forward for these kinds of things, and it's spiraling downwards. So we need to have a path to get back up. And I think what brother's saying is some kind of economic incentive to pay for the people who want to lose their lives and lose their freedoms to uphold these truths. This is one thing. Like, would the community support such an action? I would definitely support that. And there's also, you then get there's other strategies, but that's just one. But yeah, it's very tricky, very challenging. But I hope that answers your question, Sister Knight.
Sorry, yeah, I was listening, but to be fair, yeah, I'll be real, yeah. Raven, let me ask you a question. If I came to you and I said, yo, Raven, this guy has fucked me up.
Oh,
yeah,
sister,
my partner. All right, Raven, this guy has messed me up. MESSED. He's messed me up. You know, he's threatened my family. What would you say for me to do?
Well, I would ask, are you safe at the moment? Are you staying with him?
No, I'm not safe. No, I'm not safe. No.
So then I'll ask, are you staying with him still? Do you live in the same house as his? Are you living with him?
Yeah.
You are living with him. The first thing is, you'll need to get out. You'll need to go to a mother's house, a brother's house, his house, or authority that deals with women who are abused. You have to get away from the abuser. Once that's done, Depending on the nature of the abuse, either it has to go to an authority or a collection of guys who have to approach him, have a conversation to see what is going on.
Excellent. So have you got links to them guys?
Say again?
Have you got links to those guys that would come and need to talk to?
Well, yeah, I do, to be honest. But it might have to be because when you go to different areas, sometimes you have to check into whoever is running that area, who's the most known in that area. So the area based a very good part in actually trying to find solutions. So we will have to ask around behind the scenes. Does anyone know
Sis
this?
Rain, do you mind going on mute, sis? We can hear the background.
I'm just going to mute you, sis, just so, yeah. I thought it was someone else. Yeah, she's muting that. Sorry about that, family. So, yeah, so it would be very area specific. And it will also be the nature of the person they're dealing with as well. If it's a person who's known to have a history of violence towards people in general, then you have to have a different strategy, because you're not approaching like a broken man who's regretful, and when you highlight him, his shame will keep him humbled. You're talking about someone who has a history of violence and enjoys violence.
1 second. Say that last bit again. Sorry.
So there's different. So as men, you have to assess the situation. So there's men who they're actually low self-esteem. Most men are low self-esteem, but low self-esteem, quite cowardly and quite humble in the sense of once people are aware of their shame, they humble themselves and they want to fix themselves because it's out. And the biggest thing is to make sure it never gets out. But there's other people where they're actually just violent people, where they actually live for violence, and it comes from a history of destruction, whatever, right? And no matter what you do when you approach them, it's going to be violent. And the fact that he's violent to his wife, because that's just the tip of the iceberg. He's violent to his friends, he's violent to the police, he's violent to anyone. So then that you have to have a very different way of handling that, because it won't be the same method.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I got my machine on anyway, but yeah, I'll hear you. Sorry, Bab. I'll be back. It's gone on the spin now. Sorry.
We can't hear it if you're talking about the washing machine or something. But yeah, I hope that was,
yeah.
Right. It wasn't
paid
your
good money for it. It's quiet.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know, Rabs. I hear you, Rabs. I do hear you, man. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I do hear you though. But
well, here's what it is. I understand the concept.
Because I'll be real here, Raven. What I hear a lot of accommodation, Raven.
From here?
Yeah, just I hear a lot of accommodation of 40 men.
Break it down.
40 men.
Break it down.
You know why? Because I just listened to what you said. Like, just accommodation. Like, I'm not hearing much bunning out, much, just trying to fix man instead of just bunning man out.
Well, here's what it is.
And that might be the wrong thing, innit? That might be the wrong thing. I'm not saying that I am right. You get me? So let me first say that. But it's just all around. He's not well.
Well, no, it's not that. It's not that.
He's got low self-esteem. I mean, like, this is the thing, because I think that. All right, sorry, go on, man.
Let me explain. I understand where you're coming from. Here's what it is, right? The more a person becomes problematic and destructive to the society he's in, or our community, the more, if something happens to him, there's going to be less of a concern. All right. So we know that once someone does these things, if something happens to them, no one's crying. Yeah. So I'm saying that the best thing we can say is you are a destructive person, and there is a path to fix everything you've damaged. But if not, if something happens to you, no one's going to cry. No one's going to care. What you're not going to have me do is jump on and go, oh, well, we're going to go and beat the shit out of him. Excuse my French. I'm just using a quote there, right? So what I'm saying is this is the issue that we have to understand here on this kind of show, right? That certain things might just happen, right? But we have to have a path for everyone. That's how far they are, that if they are willing to become better, they can tread. However, if and I'm sure it's shot a little diagram at the moment.
Have you got any all else policies, Raven? Has Black Betterment got any all else policies?
Well, so here it is.
I.e., if you do, You're not showing me a slide, are you? Oh, all right,
well, it might be very helpful. So, for example, when we look here, we see that if someone is error prone and they're stuck in error proneness, right? Then the more they're in there, the more they're not protected. So that is the or else, meaning that if they go to jail, if they get arrested, if someone tells on them, if a non-black person harms them, they're not protected because they're unsynchronized and they're heavily unsynchronized, heavily error prone, and they're
well,
destructive.
wait. They're not unprotected by who, Raven?
Meaning I can't protect them. The black community can't protect them. We're not obliged
Well,
to do
wait,
anything.
no, but that's an erroneous statement that you just made. When you just said that the black community can't protect them, that's not true, Raven. Because we know that my back just about to die with my charger. We know that the black community protects a lot of degenerates, Raven.
So let me
So I
explain.
don't know what you're talking about in that regard.
I'll explain. So we are talking about people who practice a form of black Betterment. This particular show talks about, right? And we have certain rules and regulations to make it make sense. So amongst the people who practice this ideology or this lifestyle, we won't protect them. If someone tells me the police have them, or they're going to bring the police to them, they're out there from protection. They're rogue. They're off the chart because they're continuously harming women and children and this kind of stuff. So the best place for them is outside the community, regardless of how that happens. Now, if you want to talk about a person who doesn't practice black Betterment, who loves marrying non-black women and likes fighting black men and hates any kind of constructive, because they're not part of what they're doing, and they will not have a part of what they're doing until they do the same thing. They go from being error prone to high principle by being dedicated to black Betterment in the most constructive, high principled way. So the path is there, but if they're not in the path, we don't defend them because they're too deep in error proneness. They're around about here. They're around at the 5, 4. It's too much. They're not in our production. If they started improving and they started getting closer to 2 and 1, then we can have a talk. And then if they're victims, and I think our washing machine might have disconnected it. But if they're victims, then then are satisfied with what they've done. But if something happens to them before then, they're not part of our protection because they're destructive. And like I said, you won't get me jumping on the panel saying we're going to do these harmful deeds to people. I wouldn't recommend anyone do that. But we won't protect you from them. The sister's gone, so she can't really conclude on her point. But for those joining now, we're talking about the content. We're talking about, unfortunately, let me get to that slide. Are too many black men emotionally aggressive when courting, dating, chirping, that kind of stuff? Well, not dating, more chirps and courting. And how do we protect black women from aggressive harassment? And we were joined by Sister Nani for what I think her washing machine or her phone ran out of power or something like this, and she couldn't conclude on the question. But very important questions, no doubt. She wanted to know what is to be done to unsynchronize black men, or more so, much more than unsynchronized, violent, harassing, aggressive black men, similar to this individual who jumped across train tracks to harass a black woman. So we weren't best pleased with this, and what is to be done. And we were talking, and I think Brother Kel was talking about having financial incentive to create bodies of people who are used to an action kind of lifestyle and paying for them if something was to happen to them, so their families could eat, them being taken out and not being around. So these were certain suggestions, but by all means, there's other suggestions that the brothers will make. We're also talking about individuals. The name was given by Brother. The real talks was the individual making fun of Sister Afro, saying very offensive things, and that was examples of saying once a person behaves this way, they're out of the fold, and we can't speak for them or have anything to do with them. And this is hopefully a consistent way of operating. So we actually are past the time, but we can still go on if there's any other questions. Anyone wants to say anything, by all means? Anyone, or is everyone sleeping? It's quite late.
No, I'm still, brother, man. Still there.
Mm-hmm.
Still, yeah.
So we can go ahead. We can wrap up soon if there's no more questions, because we have passed the 12 o'clock threshold. But hopefully, I think the sisters are all gone. It's just Empress Kush is left, and obviously Brother Stanley and Brother Kel. So any kind of like last kind of thoughts or anything like that?
Yeah, bro. As I said before, in it, like because we have to be very careful on these platforms, isn't it, man? Because it can be taken out of context. But a lot of us, brother, as I said, we have affiliated family members that lived a certain lifestyle, and if we were to kind of the ones who kind of have turned their life around in each area code in the UK, and it can definitely work as well, because I've spoken to especially family members on my father's side, etc., and that, right? But if we was to make that like a global thing in the UK, that if a black woman is harassed in basically a bad way, and we use our contacts and our security in that, it can be a global movement. And pain as well, we can, and I'm sure Mandem in certain areas where you're from. I know for myself, you see what I'm saying? And so it's just that thing of, this happened, okay, we got to do this, okay, this is the fee, etc. And that it's very difficult online, brother. You understand? But we're starting to do these things anyway, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? These things are in place. We're just trying to kind of make it more abundant. You know what I mean?
Brother Kel, is it okay if when we're gonna, can you stay behind afterwards, you and Kushti?
Right, yeah.
Cool. Brother Stanley, any last words before we end the show?
No, I basically just wanted to say, the reason I keep coming back to the show is I kind of like talking about this sort of thing. That you think I'm trolling, that's actually I like to make a good joke every now and again, but I think the topic is too important to actually troll. So I'm sad that you think that's my goal.
Thank you, brother, for that. Empress Christian, any last things before we wrap up?
I just want to say another good show. And also, I think in regards to the situation currently that we're facing, I think it's going to be a topic filled with passion, because it is genuinely scary. Like, a little baby girl, like she was 14, she lost her life for this kind of same mentality, and it does trigger rightfully so passion. And we're going to have more hard-hitting conversations about things like this, and it just goes to show that how much really does need to be done, like in a real sense, because we're talking about like onslaught and violence. So yeah. But Black Betterment to the family and everyone who jumped on.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys after. I'm just going to end the stream. Brother, I'm just going to talk to Brother Kel and Brother Kush. See you guys. Let me just end it. Black Betterment.